number type, and value string type. So now in this, what we can do is you can access the values with reference of keys, which are by default memory index 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. like this, by using memory index. That means how we can configure that. See, this is custom array. In the square brace, we need to define the key. Suppose index is a number type. And its value type is a string type. That's how we define. Now, in this, what we are doing is we are storing a value. How to store the value? So let, suppose I defined as products, and it is a custom array type. Usually how we store values into an array type? It is a custom array type. Then how do we store values into it? Like this, into an array configuration. We have TV and we have mobile. Like this, we have stored the values into this. That means now it is not a traditional array. We created like an array our own. Now how to access the TV and how to access the mobile? Six references by using the index references. That means now generally what we can do is, suppose I'm saying console.log, and here I am configuring the values. How you are configuring the values? So just means how you are accessing the values. So dollar, I am defining products of 0, then it will get the first value. Of 0, it will get the first value. And here, so /n, so I am printing the second one. So dollar array is products of 1, it will get the second value. Okay. Now here I am defining products of 0 in a quote. That means it is a string type reference here. We are defining as a string type reference. And we are defining 1 as a string type difference. So it is also valid. So because already I told you that even you define the number as index as a number type, it is to store it. But when you are accessing it from an array, I told you already that the type of any property of an array is a string type. Already in arrays concept we discussed about that. But you can individually assign also. I told you destruction of array also. Destruction of array means what we can do is we can create let. So here we can configure any variable name. I told you destruction, we can declare, suppose product 1 or say product 1, comma. So we say product 2, two products is equal to, we can assign a custom array. So that means products array is defined into that. Now when you are configuring in this way, you see here, this time it says that must have, you see, custom array must have a symbol iterator method that returns an iterator. Usually that means it is saying that, so it requires an iterator to read and define the values. If it is a general array, then you can destruct it. But it is a custom array, we created our own array, then it will not allow to destruct in this way. You remembered already we learned about destruction of arrays. It will not allow to destruct the array in this way, because now the array is defined in such a way that it is accessible only by using its property. That means according to its definition, you have to use only an iterator. Through the iterator you can access, you cannot destruct it. If it is an ordinary array, then it will support destruction. If it is an ordinary array, generally if it is an ordinary array, it supports destruction. Observe, I am not defining as a custom array type. That means it will allow destruction. But it is not an ordinary array. We created our own array, which is accessible only by index number. It will not support any another mean. And if I make it as a custom array type, then destruction is not allowed. That means now you cannot access like this. So what we have to do, we have to say product 1 is equal to products of 0, and let product 2 is equal to products of 1. Only in this way you can access. So later you will learn about dictionary type collections and a concept called IEnumerable and a concept called generics. There you will understand about other type of attributes and options. So initially means how to create such dictionary type collections, you will understand about that. Initially, now this is not like a traditional array. So it will not support all the features of a traditional array. It will be your own array, which is accessed by using index. Now I am printing that console.log, and here we are printing. So product 1, and so here we are printing the product 2. So /n, I am printing the product 2 /n, and we are printing product 2. So the two products details are printed here. And let's compile and run this and see here, and you can see it is working fine. So it gets the values and it can print the values and configure the values. That is important. So this is technically the concept of how to work with indexable properties. Right? So these type of indexable properties are very much important and required when we are working with collections, complex collections. How to create our own collections with other types, we will discuss when we learn about these concepts in our Angular. With the examples, we will see that. So here we are understanding the concept which we have to use in our Angular, right? How these indexable types are defined and configured. While working with our data and the remote data coming from services and APIs, these contracts will play the key role. They will be very important, right? I hope you are clear about all the points about the contracts. How do we configure, how do we handle and define the contracts, right? How to work with the contracts and configure and deal with the contracts. So what are the points we discussed about the contracts? I will give an overview about that. That means example for this is this. This is an example how we can define indexable properties. So finally, what we discussed about the summary about interfaces. So what are the points? So we discussed about, so what is a contract? How to define contracts, and what are rules in a contract. Rules are nothing but the members in a contract. Another important is how to define optional rules in a contract, and how to define read-only rules in a contract, and how to define indexable properties in a contract.